Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the October office hours. We're going to be talking today about sets and galleries. They are both back-end use kind of things for everybody to use as needed, and also part of our front-facing presentation on the public portal for any of you who are publicly accessible. So you should be able to right now see my screen that has the Welcome to Connecticut Collections big screen. We're going to delve into some of the back into the system stuff. We're going to be using the sandbox today like we usually do. We're also going to hop over to my Fairfield system, mostly because I know what's on there, and if I'm looking for something in particular, I can find it over there as an example for you. So let me actually go over to, let me go to start with Fairfield, actually. Okay, so this is my landing page at Fairfield. I have it set up with all kinds of stuff on here, including my pesky clocks, which won't leave me alone because it shows up every time. I've got this set up to track a bunch of different things, but I do have a search by set widget in here too if I wanted to go look at a particular set. I'm just going to dive into any record for the moment. I'll go into that shelf clock just by clicking on that. So actually, no, it's not going to work because I need a selection of stuff. So I'm just going to enter an asterisk and pull up everything in my collection. So as most of you probably know, but I just like to repeat it for any new users that view this later on, can use the asterisk in the quick search box. It'll pull up everything in your collection. And if you see something like this that has 100 after the module name, that means you have more than 100 results. I have more than 100 entities, more than 100 occurrences. I have 84 loans entered. But if you click on this full results hamburger, that will send you to the spreadsheet view. Well, whatever your last view was. I had thumbnail view up. I'm going to put it on spreadsheet view by clicking on the pickle, gear, whatever you want to call it. Change my options. I'm going to change the layout from thumbnails to list. And right now I've got general object reports up now, which is fine. Okay, so this is going to give you just your general reports and information about everything. If you want more information about changing the display to suit what you want to do or what project you're working on, there is a displays office hours available on YouTube. You can go check that out. We're going to look at sets today as far as how many different types of things you can use them for. Sets are basically to create a fake collection of materials, groupings of materials to pull together for different projects. You can use them to pull together a actual collection of material. If you have the John Smith collection in your institution, you can use those to say, these are all the items in the John Smith collection. You can use sets to pull together things that you might want to put in an exhibition. We're getting ready for a taverns exhibit in Fairfield. Since I'm in Fairfield, we'll get back to some of this too. These are all the sets I have in Fairfield at the moment. Somewhere down, I think we're calling it, oh, Taverns in Revolution. So I'm going to pull up all the objects that I have in Taverns in the Revolution. And I've got 20 objects in there right now. These are the materials that I've got that are going into the exhibit. I'm going to put one of the displays that has images because it's just always more interesting with images. I'm going to put up our review for exhibitions spreadsheet here. Okay, this gives all the information about what we want to do for the exhibit. Some of these images are going to be incorporated into panels. Some of them are actually going to be in the exhibit. This is a fun, easy use of working with your team to figure out what you want to include in an exhibit. You can add things, take them away. It doesn't permanently affect anything. Nothing in here permanently affects anything. We very much used it a lot when we had a team of 3 people and a theme for an exhibit that we'd go in and start pulling stuff together for things that we wanted to do. Let me get back to the sandbox and we'll go through how you can start building a set. As you guys have any questions, feel free to just ask or put it in the chat. Dana's here too today, so we can he can keep an eye on that for me too, hopefully. If you walk away to get coffee, Dana, it's okay. Let's see, let me go back over to the sandbox. So let's say, for instance, that we are doing an exhibit on cats and we want to pull up everything to do with cats in our collection. I think there's cats in here. Okay, so we have a handful of stuff that are considered cats. So you want to go into your full results. And here you've got on the left-hand side, shows what your search is. And then down here you see set tools. When you click on that, it opens up options for you. And this is, you can create a set from results that you've gotten in your search. So we're just going to add everything, and then we're going to go into a different spot and show you how to move stuff around from it. And as with anything with this system, there's always 2 or 3 different ways to do things. This is the most common way that I use it and put things together, because I'll usually run some sort of search, either a simple search or an advanced search, and I want to pull all the results into whatever it is that I'm doing. So you've got over here, create set. We're going to call it cats. I might already have a cats one in here, I don't know. And I'm going to say from the results. Your other option is from checked items, and you can go and individually check these teensy tiny little boxes here if you wanted to do it that way. But I'm just going to pull everything together because there's only, your search found 6 objects. There's only 6 objects. So I'm going to say from results. You have to click the little plus button. And it'll say created set cats with 6 objects. So now if we go into this search by set up here, there should be a collection called cat. And click that and you're going to get the same 6 objects. And this will give you options. I don't know, since I switched over to the sandbox, I'm not sure what report I'm in. Oh, general object again. I don't think anything really has pictures, but yeah. So now you've got all these things pulled together. Now, the other way to get into sets and to ensure that everybody at your institution can see it, why it exists, what's included in it, is to go to manage. For those of you who have access to this, this will depend on your user level. Administrators definitely have this. Depending how you're set up, your catalogers might. But you can figure out who you want to be able to create and edit sets. I usually let pretty much anybody create sets because it's nothing that is, you know, integral to like the system, and you're like, they're not really going to mess anything up. This is a very like off to the side tangential tool to use while you're cataloging. So we're going to go down to manage and we're going to look for my sets. Now, when you hover over my sets, you get options of all sets, public presentations, user sets, or sets by user. If you just go to user sets, you'll just get the ones that you created because these are very much tied to who creates them. I usually go in and just say all sets so I can see everybody's. You do need to set access levels to the set after you create it. And then we'll get to that in a second. So this will list everything in your sets. I've got 44 sets currently. Or we've got 44 sets in the sandbox. Fairfield, I've lost track of how many I have, and some of them I need to clean out because they're just for particular projects. If you are looking for something in the set, you can't remember what you named it or are sure what somebody else named it, you can start typing up at the top and it'll pull up anything with those words in it. So I'm looking for flower set. So I've got 3 that have the word flower in it. We're looking for a cats one right now, but we can see that right here in the bottom. So it'll give you the name of the set, what the content is. It's got objects in it. User set, that means it's mine because I'm logged in. We'll get to the magic wand in a minute. Yeah, the owner is, since I'm in the sandbox, it's collective access administrator. It is not a public set. And this is the date that it was created. And when you click on the little edit, the little page with the corner turned, same as everything else in the system. When you look in that, that goes to the records and lets you edit it. So right now, this is what our set looks like. You're going to see the same setup that you see in a lot of your screens. The main meat and potatoes and everything is right here in the middle. And a lot of your options and your information about what you're looking at is over on the left. If you want to go back to that list, you can hit back to list and get back to those 44 sets. This is what you're editing. I'm going to skip these guys for the second. There's 4 items in this set. Objects. Duplicate items in this set and add to another set. Be wary of that because that will make a duplicate object record of those objects. There are ways to duplicate a set. Don't use that one. It gets a little bit squirrely. There are uses for doing it that way, but you just want to be careful with that one. If you want to copy a set, you can use this duplicate the user setup here. This is the owner. You can export the set of records, but that's usually just for manuscript and archival collections. So there's different ways to report to send out reports for that. And on your pages to edit or look at, you've got a basic info page, the items, the individual items listed, which is what we're looking at now, and then the log. This is the same log that you have throughout the entire system, that it'll show you when stuff is created, any changes that were made, any edits that were made, and that kind of thing. So you don't need to worry about that. The system automatically generates that. Going back up to the basic info, this is what the information is about this set. So the set title is cat. The set code, don't worry about those. The system will generate it automatically. If you want to fill something in, I just usually make it really short and I'll be like cats exhibit, you know, or something like that. You can always shorten it from what the system generates. It's okay. Access is where you make something accessible to the public, and we'll talk about that in a second. And then if you want to track what the record's done, is it new? Are you editing it? Is it in progress? Is it a complete set they're going to keep forever? That kind of thing. Calls this an introduction. You don't have to fill this out either, but it's just a quick info about the set for other users or for people in the future. First pass at pulling records together for the cats exhibit. We're still working on this as just relevant to us in back of the house. We're going to save that. The one thing that's very important that you want to do is set your user access and your group access down here. This will make sure that other people at your institution can see this if they need to. If nobody else needs to see this, you can just leave it as it is, and it'll just be available to you. We did not realize this for a very long time that you had to set that, because my two of my other colleagues ages ago when we were working on exhibitions. We were talking about the exhibit, and I said, well, yeah, I added like 5 items to the whatever exhibit. And they were like, really? I didn't see anything other than what I added. I'm like, wait, what did you add? I didn't see anything that you added. And we finally realized that you need to give people permission to get in and see this. So you can put a user in, and it links to your access and your username. So I think we have CTO admin in here. So you just start typing and it'll pull up whoever else is in here. So we're going to put the CTO manager in here and say that we want to give us, you can have no access, which is you can lock somebody out if you want. You can also do it for a period of time. You can give people read-only access, and you can give people edit access. Read-only access is great if you have an exhibition and you want your docents or volunteers or somebody is going to be leading tours of the exhibit, and you want them to be able to see information about your stuff, but they don't need to edit anything. You don't want them to edit anything. So you can give them read-only. You can give them edit access. That's fine. We don't need to set the time period because, you know, that'll be forever. And then you can hit save. So now if I logged in as Connecticut Collections, I'll be able to see this set. If you've got access level groups set up at your institution, there are office hours on that. And I believe it's in the manual. If you've got this set up somewhere, you can do a whole group of people at once. I don't know if I ever did it in here or not. Oh, administrators. So I did it at Fairfield as I grouped all of our educators together, like including docents and volunteers. I grouped our admin level people together. So I can just, instead of having to go through that user access and add 5 individual people, I can just do the administrators and it takes care of whoever I've added to that group. And we're going to say they have edit access as well. So that's very important when, if you're creating a set that you need other people to see at your institution. I did save it, but I'm going to save it again just in case. So going back to the items, if you want to add items from here, you can. You can just start typing in the add objects. It'll pick it up by name or by number. So we'll put the harpoon in here. Why? I don't know, but it just came up. So you can start typing a number. When you see the number that you want, you can click it on here and it'll add it. Save, of course. If you know and you can just keep going with this as you need. If you know something else that you want to add, start typing the name of it. It'll take it that way. I don't know why we're adding a broom, but I'll put a broom in, why not? So it'll just to show you what it'll pull up and add. Sometimes if it does this, try it again. And then if it still doesn't like you, then, oh, see, but that's there. So I don't understand why it did that. Just try it again. And if it comes in being really, really, really weird, let us know. Oh, I'm guessing, yeah, if anybody else is trying to add stuff, that's why it might be saving the same thing because we're on the same username. Just going to the other pages to just clear that. You can do little things that are, depends if you need it or not, and to change the order of things when you pull the list up. This at the bottom, I want to put the quotes together. You can move stuff around if you want to have it show up in a specific order when you pull those sets together. So I'm going to save that. This is the other place to pull out a report, is the little PDF page on the top. When you click that, it'll say download whatever one of your reports is. I want to say this one was being squirrely with me a couple weeks ago, but we'll see. Your options are PDF or PDF checklist. The main difference is that the checklist, I think, has bigger images. We just want the regular PDF for now. I may have to change my screen share. Yeah, so it'll do a download, and let me just change my share so you can see that too. So it'll come out looking something like that. Again, more exciting when you have images, but it'll just give you a list of like, these are the things in our show, depending what you have for your report, it'll have different things in there. Like none of these have locations. I think the report I ran was just like location and something, and these don't have anything, so it's coming up completely blank. Back to the other screen. Okay. So you can move all that stuff around. So if you are in an object record, you can click on the little page to go over. There we go. This is a set caption part of it within the set. This doesn't go directly to the record at this point, but you can go in and say this quilt is important because there's a embroidered picture of a cat on it or something like that. So I'm going to say, let's see. I haven't tried this one that much if I'm making something else because I don't use a lot of the other options with it. So I save that, but we're going to go, if you want to go back to the full set, or if you want to go to the object on the left-hand side, these are in blue. And you can click on those and they'll go to those things. So if I go to click on quilt duplicate, now I'm into the actual quilt record. And again, like kind of with there's a million different ways to do things on this system. You can get yourself in a loop of going to a bunch of different places, but it's okay because everything will just keep linking and you can keep going back around. So now I'm actually in this record, and you can put in physical characteristics. Relationships are the big one because this is when you're going to see where this is related to other entities, other archival and manuscript collections. Exhibitions is a big one. So we're going to make these relate to our exhibit, cat exhibit. Oh, there's a cat exhibit. Cool. And save that. So you can kind of make notes and connections with different things. It's a really, really quick overview and very like all over the place, I know. I am going to go to Fairfield for a second and go to what I have for sets in here. I like to do sets for myself for projects that I'm working on. Like I had a deaccession bunch of stuff in furniture in 2016. So I pulled all of this stuff together in a deaccession set. So I don't have to pull up individual items every time. I can go into this set and say, oh, okay, these are all the things. This is what I need to note about them. Print out a list of what I need to do with them, that kind of thing. And this is like an example of one of the sets that I don't have available to anybody else. This is just my own stuff that I'm working on. So it makes it easy for me to go into the system and go, okay, I want to work on this deaccession list today. Let me pull up the set and see where I am with it. Got rid of this, yeah, even though I'm pretty sure it's deaccessions. Oh, okay, yeah, it's marked as deaccession. I think we did send it off to auction. Let's see. Let me go back to that home page for a second. So if you don't have a setup on your home page like this and don't have the search by set widget in there, again, see the widgets office hours to get more information about this, or some of the beginner trainings have this. You can't do a search for set here. So the easiest is to do that, manage, go to my sets and see what's there in the all sets. and see what everybody's working on. It also helps if you have a group of people working in a project in the institution. We're all working on cataloging the postcards. So you can make a postcard set, pulling all the postcards together, and then everybody that's working on that postcards project can get in and do and work on their grouping of postcards. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to say. Go back to history and data objects for a second. I don't need that one. Let's go to this guy. The other way to add or delete things or move them around for sets is when you're in the individual object record. Go all the way down to admin info. And you'll have a link to all the related sets for this object. So you can see that deaccession 2016 set. We had done a bunch of other sets that this is related to. If you want to add it to another set, you can just start typing. Oh, because I did it. So here's my tavern set from before. We're in Fairfield. I can add this to that Taverns and Revolution set if I wanted to right from here, once the set is created. You can also get rid of something from a set by clicking on the little X, and just by like removing that box from that list, it's now taken out of the set. The other way to create a set is doing it through the Manage My Sets, but you have to have an item in mind that you want to add because you need to have an item to start with. So if we're in Manage All Sets, yeah, I'm not saving that. Actually, let me go and do this in the sandbox so I don't forget to delete something. So Manage My Sets. We'll just go into All Sets again, just easier. So I want to create a new set. You can do it from the top up here. Right now, I don't want to create a public presentation. I just want to create a user set, sure, containing objects, and hit plus. And this is where I need to have an object to go in to start the set. Otherwise, as you'll notice, those options on the left-hand side, like there's no information up here. Those options on the left-hand side of basic info and the log and everything, they don't exist yet. So okay, we're just gonna do something with flowers. I'm gonna put the liquor chest in there, why not? So now that's in there. So once you click save here, now you'll see all this information show up on the left-hand side. So you can fill in the record about the set. This is where you're also gonna definitely wanna go, even if you just put one item in, go back up to basic info, fill in the set title and stuff. So it automatically comes up as blank. I'm just going to say flowers in the Revolution. Oh, flowers and taverns. And then the set code, this is where you can just put in whatever is useful just to have a little extra code for it. It does show up in the thing. Oh, let me look in a second, Charlotte. Charlotte had a question about why she doesn't have related sets in her object reports. Let me look. So the set code, I'm just going to say flowers, just like a little quickie short name like that. It's not accessible. It's definitely a new record, and I'm not going to worry about this yet. And I'm also not going to put user access in yet, because I'm just starting this set for, you know, my own project. I'm going to click save. And then you can see the items, like the other one is just the liquor chest. I need to refresh some of the information in the sandbox and get some more variety of stuff in here. I'm going to put engraving of Timothy Dwight. Why? I don't know, but just he showed up. Thank you. Here, Grayson. Are you in the, Charlotte was asking if she's the reason why she doesn't have related sets in her object records. Are you in the admin info page?
No, I'm logged in under my own account.
Yeah, but in the, if you're in a record, like an object record,
Oh,
there's
oh,
a,
oh, sorry.
basic info, physical description, all that stuff. At the very bottom, there's the admin info.
Admin info, yeah.
It should
Oh,
be
sorry. I was looking on the
there.
wrong page. I was looking at relationships.
Yeah, for some reason, yeah, no, it's actually a good question because it gets confusing. Because for some reason, we didn't have that initially. We had Seth add that. Um, and for some reason, he put it under admin info. I don't know why. So you just kind of have to have in your head that it's
Okay.
in a weird spot because it should, you would think it would be under relationships.
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad to see it's there because I
Yes.
had never noticed it on that page either. So thank you.
Yeah. It's handy. It's really handy because especially if you just want to add it to a set and you're like, I have this thing. Oh, this is something I want to look at for the 250th for next year. Let me just throw that in really quick. Um, it's really handy for stuff like that. Because there's, 18 million different ways to add sets to objects and objects to sets and things like that, but you never know when you're going to think of it. And you don't want to leave what you're doing to go back to something else and go to sets. It's easier. So a word about galleries, which is what you all walked into when we were talking. So Connecticut Collections, the public portal, where you can, whoever has chosen to have their objects publicly accessible will show up here. There's options along the top that you see collections. It'll ask you if you want objects or archives, which are called collections within the system. You can go search by institution, you can go by browse, or you can look at the map. Which I haven't done that in a while. So you can kind of see where there are institutions here. Pick out what part of the state. I'm not going to talk about the transcribe feature today. There's other recordings on that. And then you can see gallery here. So the options here are some that had existed before, and the plan is to have people be able to make their own galleries and present them here. So you can have your, particular grouping of things that you want to show off to people or make note of to people. Here, like, I have a really cool collection of, hand-colored glass slides from a female photographer in late 1800s. Yeah, 1920, 1900, 1920-ish, of all around Fairfield. So here's pulling all this stuff together. And it has a little blurb about her at the top, about what she was all about. Oh, yeah. Westport Public Art Collections put a group together about the Freedom Summer Project and Tracy Sugarman. So there's a bunch of objects in there. So pretty much whatever grouping of stuff you're like, this is our wonderful collection in wherever you are. You can put stuff up like that. So the part that Dana and I were talking about when we got there is we had been having some issues with people syncing to that and not really like wanting to make things public and not showing up in the gallery. And Dana's been working with Seth the past week or two to figure out why that's happening, because it should just be a really easy thing to do and just have your collections and stuff show up. So apparently, and Dana, correct me if I'm wrong or if you've heard anything else about it. When you have sets of items that you want to be galleries and show up, you need to let us know so that Seth can include that in the nightly sync. I think this is a new thing, but that's fine as long as we know how to get it there. But what Dana had just discovered is your sets of things will not show up in that whole featured gallery, but they'll show up under your institution. So like I know I have stuff in there and we just looked at it earlier, like one that I wanted to add. So when we go to institutions and just browse and go find Fairfields, I just go right into our main page. It has a featured galleries right here. It's got my Mabel Osgood Wright slides. It's got a Pequot War dig artifacts from a grant funded project we did. So you can go in and see those here and look at the records. It's also reminding me that I need to put a blurb in about that. I don't know if this will go to, I either have to just go back or go back to the institution. Okay. And Danny, you said Housatonic was showing up too?
Yeah, I sent you guys an email today, Charlotte.
We're just gonna
Oh, great.
pop in and
Thank
look at
you.
your stuff,
Yeah,
Charlotte.
so anytime you create more galleries in the future, they should be live. Hopefully, we'll get the featured galleries to sync to the tab on the gallery, like on the main page there.
Oh, so there you go.
Um, yeah. See, Diane, those are not showing up like that on my page. They're showing up vertical, and I'm not sure why. And I saw that Jody said the same
Interesting.
thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting.
They look very different. I sent you a picture, Diane, to
Yeah, I hadn't looked at it yet.
yeah. Also, Tim had a really good
Oh, that's
question.
weird. That's
Yeah.
really weird. Sorry, everybody that's not looking
I
at
just
this.
sent
I'm
it to
just
Seth
looking at
already,
it.
and I'm like, what is this?
Okay. Yeah. What is this? That's
Um,
funny. Yes, what?
Tim had a really good question for you in the chat too.
Oh, I just saw it. Here are galleries, sets, collections, and lots. Oh, they are all very different things to be used for various different purposes. Tim's question is, can you do a quick compare and contrast of galleries, sets, collections, and lots? When to use and pros and cons of each. It's not, the pros and cons fits into the when to use part. So starting with collections are meant for archival and manuscript collections. They're meant for your library materials. For be able to create finding aids, create organization with all of those kind of things. Basically, library and paper is what that's meant for. It sounds very counterintuitive. We missed the boat on naming it archival collections. So everybody treats it like collections, like of objects and everything else, and says, I have dishes, I'm going to put those in collections. While you can link objects to the collections module, it's more meant for paper and archives. We're doing a lot of work on that right now for our current grant project we have going on that some groups are part of. And we will be doing more trainings, more webinar kind of things with that. So you guys will have access to all of that to be able to see more of what that means. And it can be anything from, you know, the Smithson love letters that you have in your collection to, I mean, you could honestly count it as your research and reference files too, if you wanted to. So that's collections. Lots can cover both, can cover paper materials, can cover objects. It's very much to track an entire donation that comes in or a grouping of materials that comes in and all relates to each other. And it's very much more of an admin kind of thing. So if I walk in the door to your museum today and say, hi, I live here, I was born here, I got married here, I would like to give you my collection of my wedding materials. So I walk in the door with my wedding dress, my photos, my invitations, the newspaper clippings, correspondence of thank you notes sent and given and all that stuff. I walk in and say, here, take this. Whether you want it or not, whether you want it or not is irrelevant to this conversation. But you would use lots to say that, actually, let's go look at lots. You would say lots here. So if you create a new lot, you've got request, found in collection, gift, transfer, purchase. I would say a new gift. What I do at my institution right now, before something, we have to put things to our collections committee to approve it before we actually accession it. So I mark it by a temporary receipt number. So I've just been doing temporary receipt, like the last name of the person. The accession number, you don't have one yet, although just for purposes of searching, I just use that temporary receipt number, the date, say I walked in the door with this today. You can put that there and say, date received. This is a good way to track where you are in processing your collections and materials that are brought in. Related entity is going to be me. And I'm going to say that I donated this. So you can put in like your overall information about this group of materials here. So the credit line is going to be gift of me. And then I've been using the curatorial description for just kind of whatever notes I need to make. There is a notes field down at the bottom, but the curatorial description I've been putting collection of materials related to the wedding of longtime resident. And I know none of us wants another wedding dress because we all have 18,000 of them. This is where you can put whether you've sent a deed of gift, whether they've signed a deed of gift, instructions. You can put it here, number items before handing off to volunteers to catalog. Just stuff like that. This is all back end. None of this shows up on the public portal. So this is all internal information. We are not putting any restrictions on this. I highly recommend against putting restrictions on things, but for some reason, if you have it, this would be a place to note it. We have a group of material that's given that there's a restriction on part of the collection. So it can't, I don't even know that we have an end date. If you ever put a restriction on something, put an end date on it. One of my old coworkers actually gave her like high school diary. She's my age. She gave her like high school diary to her museum. And there's a restriction on it that it's not accessible for like a period of time. I want to say it's like 100 years or in her lifetime or something like that. But she put a restriction. So they have it. They'll have it for the future, just not accessible for a while. And then any notes down here that you want to make. Again, all of this is internal. So whatever you want to say about something. We're going to click save. So you should also see the options up here. And this is where you can link your individual objects or your individual archival collections material. So I would say objects, wedding dress, and related collections, my photo album of images, or my the correspondence with my guests and my bridesmaids or something would go here. Sets are and this is a more formal tracking within your system type of thing. Sets are for grouping materials together for whatever you want to use them for. You cannot cross-mogenate between objects and archives. So you can have a set of objects, but you can't add archives into them. Like if you're doing an exhibit and your journals that are in your collection from somebody, you can't put that in the same set for that. So it's kind of depending on how you're working with it. And then the galleries are just public sets. So let me pop to Fairfield for a second. I'm going to go to manage my set. Let's see if I have a good, well, actually I know, because I'll use, we had Alice in Wonderland. I always use this exhibit because this is like the most visual, Alice in Museumland. This is our most visual one. So I would actually love to make this a gallery. So I might at some point. So I can put this in and make them show up on the thing. So then it would show up on Connecticut Collections as one of these feature galleries. And it would be called like Alice in Museumland. And I could put a little blurb of like, these are objects that were included in this exhibit. So she's right now, going back to Fairfield, if I go into our basic info, it's just not accessible to the public. If I wanted it to be, I could put a little blurb about the exhibit and then just change this to accessible to the public. I will probably try a couple just to make sure that sync is working since we've been working on it. Again, if you are in public portal and you sync something, it'll be like every 24 hours. So after midnight-ish, it should show up the next day. If it doesn't, give it one more day. And if it still doesn't, email us and let us know.
Hey, Diane, quick question.
Yes.
Um, does that set have to be a display, like it says public presentation, or can it just be a set?
You can start it out as just a set. Oh, like if you're creating it from
Yeah.
here, hold on. What was funny, I'm glad you asked that too. My sets, small sets.
Yeah, because you have presentations or sets. That's why I was curious if you had to have it as a
Yes.
presentation.
No, same thing. You can change it within the set.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, because actually, let me see what shows up as public presentation if I'm searching for. Well, that's in the sandbox. So there's one that's created as a public presentation. Let me look and see what Fairfield has. Because this actually changed. I went in, since we've been working at it, I went in and looked at it to see what showed up. Okay, so here's my public presentations thing. Although only one of them says accessible to the public.
Okay. Cool.
And I don't think any of these are. So I think somebody just created them as that. I don't know, it's weird. But when you go into, I do need to play with this a little bit more because I think it changed and I don't know whether it was an update or what. So all stats. So when you create a new public presentation containing objects, I did this the other day and it just looked a little bit different. So you get the plus from there. You need the and I also, side note, I don't know why this is doing this either and showing up with computer coding in a lot of it. I don't know why. And this is really down on our list to fix right now. I plan to ask Seth about this at some point, but I put the salt cellar in. There was, let me save it. Oh, see, now it looks normal. So I went into this the other day and it looked kind of odd, but I don't remember what it was doing.
But making a public presentation doesn't automatically make it accessible to the public, correct? You have to still toggle that.
You still need to, yeah, you still need to toggle the thing. Yeah, I'm not sure what the difference is, and that's something we're gonna have to find out. I may ask my counterpart in Minnesota because she's been working on her system and been getting updates and stuff too, and she was having a couple issues with that, so I may see if she knows what the difference is. And also sometimes if you create a set and you're looking in your list and don't see it, you can do that little search for it, but also look at the very bottom of your list because it for some reason just ends up on the very bottom. I'm gonna, since this is Fairfield, I'm gonna get rid of this and I'm just gonna click the little X and that will delete the entire set. And it'll always double check if you want to go to delete something. Do you really want to delete this weird blank set? Yes, I do. That can go away. Yeah, so I need to do a little bit more research about that bit, but you do need to go in and actually make something public access. Like toggle it a little bit. Yeah. That'll be like the main reason to do that. Tim, did that help?
It did. I still have just a slight question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Am I still
Yeah.
okay? So for lots, I'm just thinking in Meriden, we have a spreadsheet that we are, a massive spreadsheet of items that have been donated over time, over many, many years.
Yep.
And we have donors and we want to kind of group them all together. We want to track when we got we call it a collection, but it sounds kind of like a lot where where somebody donates here, like you gave the example of wedding dress and so on and so forth. Do you keep those lots in sync forever and ever, or do
Yes.
you? Okay.
Yep. So a lot of institutions do not use the lots. That's okay if people don't want to use them. I use them in my last institution all the time. I use them now. They're very useful for me. But that is part of the actual record. So when we get something in and we accept it and we accession it and all that, we create a paper, folder, actual physical folder with all of the paperwork in it. And that's the object folder that goes into the file cabinet. And it's basically the lot of stuff. I don't even put the individual numbers on it. I'll just put, if I do something today, I'll be like 2025.5 is the folder number, and that's the lot. And any information that you gain about that object in the paper form goes into the folder. If anything helps to put it in the lot record, you can. I don't, on a day-to-day basis for new acquisitions coming in the door, I don't have a need to like update the lots all that often unless something happens, unless somebody calls up and says, oh, the new contact for information from the family is so and so, that goes into the lot information versus having to put it into every single 100 objects that this person gave us. It's just the overarching information about that grouping of materials. Trying not to get too weird about or too complex about it, but I've been using the lots in Fairfield to kind of pull all of our old donations and things together. We didn't start numbering things until 1973, like giving them individual accession numbers and lot numbers and things. But I do have 2 accession register books that run from 1963 on until that point. So they're great. They have who gave it, a list of items, kind of a mishmashy list of items, when they gave it, the name and address of the person and all of that. Over the years, because people didn't label things the same way or tag things the same way, and just time does this, it happens to all of us, a lot of that stuff got dispersed and just split up all over the place. But there might be a little tag on there that says gift of Mrs. W.F. Ogden on August 1972. So I can search, as I've been entering them, I can search in here and find other things that came in with that stuff. I have,
Those are
we've also had
Wish I could
back
see.
cataloging done over the years that just pull stuff together, and I kind of track that stuff because there's not a lot of information. They just decided to slap numbers on a bunch of things in like 1976 just to give it a number, even though they didn't know who the donor was and all this. So I've been going through my accession registers and pulling stuff together to kind of figure out what the story of everything is. And I'll do something like this. I can't even talk about these 1969 numbers because that's a whole nother kettle of fish for me. But these were counted as the gift of the Mrs. Esther and Mildred Wakeman. I have them linked as donors. I have the date it was given. And then I put, when I go into the record, I've been putting, and this is not something you have to do, this is just another example of how you can use the lots to kind of give all of this information more context versus using a set for something like this. Because this will always be here. The sets kind of are more transitory necessarily. You don't have to ever do those, but you can always keep those, but the lots go with the record. And I just have a listing from the accessions register, the one that's 69 to 74, the list of items donated include this.
Okay.
And I'll just list stuff out. It's
So
been kind of time consuming. Yes, of course, go for it.
So when you talk about the lots, you showed us the picture of the lots and stuff, and it seemed like it was more of a summary page, that it was a
Yes.
collection of so many items.
Yes.
So I
It
didn't
is a
see where
summary
the,
page of a group of items given to you. Yep.
so where is all the detail for each item?
Right here on the left-hand
So
side where it says
are they
contents.
listed as an object
Yes.
and processed that way? And somehow
Yes.
it points to the lot? How does it
Yes.
connect? That's what I'm missing that piece.
No, that's fine. I didn't talk about that piece. So if you're in a lot and you want to see what objects are connected to that lot, you see this button at the top that says lot contains 5 objects, but you can click on this where it says contents. So the contents of the lot, if you click on that, it'll give you the items that are linked to that lot. So I've got 2 beaded bags, a feather fan, a woman's hat, a shawl that I still need to give an individual number. But if I go to that, and then I can click on this and go to that beaded bag and all
that's-
the information
how-
that I have.
All right, and how is the beaded bag entered? As an object, a
Object.
physical object?
Physical object. And you can see it right here at the top on the left.
Yeah.
So I'm editing a physical object. I've put that in as a
Okay.
physical object. Yep.
Uh-huh.
And then as with the rest of the information here, when you're on an object record, if it's linked to a lot, you'll see it right here. Part of a lot, 1969.11. So I can click back on that and go back to that lot information.
So then you would create the lot information first and then enter all the items so that you can link them?
Yes. If you're dealing with like new collections coming in, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
100%. Yep.
So I create the lot, Diane, I'll create the lot and then I'll go in, I'll enter my objects, and then in the object record itself, there must be a place where I identify it that it's attached to a lot, that's attached.
Nope,
to-
it does it automatically. If you've entered it from the lot, it does it automatically. So if that's the other handy
okay.
thing.
Yeah.
If I'm in, let me see if I have any in the sandbox that I can.
Oh, so you enter them when
You
you're in the
enter
lot.
Yeah, you enter in the lot and then you add in objects during the lot entry
Mhm.
process.
Yep, I do that now for new things coming in. If you're doing cataloging of everything you've already had forever and ever and ever, it's gonna kind of depend on your own workflow and your own setup. I find it easier to do it that way sometimes because the other thing you can do from here, so I'm back in my fake me giving you a gift lot.
Yep.
Say we've now decided that, actually, I'm not going to give it a title because I never do that. I'm going to give it, I've accessioned it. It's going to be this, my accession number for the lot only. It's 2025.13. We're going to save that. So now over on this left-hand side, now I'm processing the collection and giving individual things records. Over here, lot contains 0 objects because we haven't created it yet. Add new, and you can add things from here. Add objects from this bit. So we're going to create a new physical object and click the little plus. And now I'm in a new object record.
Okay, so there's the
you,
detail. All right.
Yep, and it starts you off with that lot number to start off. So I'm going to put the wedding dress in first. It's going to be 1. And I'll always put like just 1 or 2 fields in and hit save. So all of this stuff shows up on this side. And then you have your record to go from there.
Now, if the lot contains both paper and physical objects,
So
They're
this
all-
is where you can go to relationships, and that'll show up in like all of your modules and sections. So I'm going to go back to that lot. Oh, contents again. Hold on. So you have your related objects. There's the wedding dress I just created. And right there, you also have related collections, related archival collections, paper collections here. So you can enter it however you want and add a relationship there. I think it'll let you do it on the fly. I'm going to do it this way. Okay, so it'll let you create this on the fly. So I'm naming this a manuscript collection. It's the name of the thing. So I'm going to create that, and it'll send you to that collection record page. So you can put all the things in there.
okay.
And I already have it. I forgot. I already have this one set up. I need to do this for my own. The repository name automatically gets put in. Thank you for appreciating my repository name, JD.
That is an awesome repository name. Yeah.
So I can add a collection from here. And I think it just, and I save it again, that it links, and then it's there to work on. So then you're in your lots, you can see the related objects and you can see the related collections.
So is that
it's from this without doing it?
Is that would you say that's the recommended way to show a collection from one donor of multiple items together? Or can you just use the naming conventions of the numbers, like you have a base number, then you do A, B, C, D, E? Which way is the recommended way to show a collection from one donor of multiple items?
To show it as far as working on it within your own system?
Yeah.
Lots.
Yeah, I guess.
Lots. If you, and again, not everybody uses them. You don't have to, because if you just go into your record at the top and put in, I think I have other ones in
The
here.
base number.
And
Yeah,
put
the
in
search-
2025, there we go.
You get everything. Okay.
You have whatever has a 2025 number. So,
Yeah.
what, my
Yeah.
teddy bear from one of my trainings.
Yeah, right.
From my
Yeah.
last office hours, and
Yeah.
now my wedding dress. So also, if
Yeah.
you search by me,
Yes,
you can see what I'm related to.
Correct.
gotcha.
So,
And so
entity.
We identify it with a unique number, and then we
Mm-hmm.
put hyphens after it, so that anything with that unique number is that one collection. All right.
Yeah, yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
that was
so here's
super,
me,
that was,
and
that was
here's, I'm
super
related
helpful.
to 5 objects. What did you say, Tim?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that was super helpful. Thank you.
Good, okay.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, once you get in and like start doing it, it makes so much more sense. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's totally like, here's a grouping of material. Here's another grouping of material, but you can also group it this way.
Yeah.
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 But the computer interrelates everything.
Yeah.
All right, good, thank you.
Yeah. All right. And it's a little after 11. So any other questions? I'm going to stop recording. And any other questions from anybody else at the moment?
I do quickly, hopefully.
Yeah.
With back to
Yeah.
galleries for a second. So
Yeah.
when on the public portal, when you pull one up, it has